Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we'll be going over my Season 3, Week 12 Battle 1 match of the PDL. Yes, I have 2 battles this week. It is the final week of the season. We're facing my brother, Tyler, who is the coach of Vicious and Delicious. Before I go over the match, though, small housekeeping stuff. I mentioned in the last video that I was pretty sure I locked top 6. I, in fact, did lock top 6. So we do have a bye round. I guess by round, sort of, or by week, however you want to look at it, for the playoffs. Basically, I'm going to explain the playoff picture here. How it's going to work is it's going to be like the normal double elimination bracket that we've done for the previous 2 seasons. However, 7th and 10th place are going to fight out in a wild card game, and same thing with 8th and 9th to determine like the true 7th and the true 8th place. I'm not sure where exactly I'm locked up for in top 6. However, I do know that I actually do have a chance to lock up first for the 3rd season in a row. The way I have to do that is I have to win both of my matches this week, which is one against Tyler and one against Sean, which will be up after this video. Sean also has 2 matches this week, so he has to lose to me, and he has to lose his other match that he's playing. And Mark has to also lose his other match. At the time of recording, I do know that Mark lost his match. I don't know the results of Sean's other matches, though. So anyways, going over my team. Well, actually, let's go over Tyler's team first. So, his entire team, he drafted Manaphy, Mega Scizor, Politoed, Heliolisk, Goodra, Snorlax, Tornadus Incarnate, Victini, Crocodile, Celebi, Granbull, and Quillfish. So, Ty is the second rain team. He's not pigeonholed into rain, though, whereas I believe Liam, who's the other rain team, is pigeonholed. He pretty much has to run rain every week. I don't think Ty has to. He has, I would say, objectively, the best team. Coming out of the draft, I would say his team was objectively the best. One critique about his team, though. His team is quite slow. His fastest mon is Tornadus Incarnate at 111, which makes Mega Lopunny just run across his team. Running Adamant with enough speed to outspeed his entire team, barring Scarfers. We're running Power Up Punch because some things like the Crocodile's kind of setup fodder. It's mostly for like the Goodra and the Quillfish and stuff that like can't really hit it back all that hard. Just to get, or even like unexpected switches, really. Power Up Punch, High Jump Kick for turn, obviously main stab. The Mega Scizor obviously can take hits well, but a boosted Fire Punch makes a huge dent, possibly OHKOs it. So Fire Punch was needed because of that, because he is 4 times weak. One other critique I would give to Tyler is that he only has 1 hazard remover, which I know I'm not the one to talk, because I think after all my moves, I only have 1 hazard remover as well in Skarmory. However, his hazard remover is Mega Scizor, and he's not the best hazard remover. He doesn't really like giving up a slot for defog. But anyways, knowing that, Sticky Web, by far the best thing I could bring. You might be thinking, like, you know, I said his team was slow, so why bring Sticky Webs? It's because while his team is slow as compared to like where the top of his speed curve lies, but he does have like Tornadus outspeeds some key things, even though it doesn't get affected by Sticky Webs, and he didn't bring it. Things like Victini, Celebi, and Manaphy all lie at 100 speed, which outspeed, most importantly, Manaphy. Or, not Manaphy, Haxorus. And Kyurem if I decided to bring it. So, I wanted to bring that to slow them down. He does also often like to bring Scarfers, things like Crocodile and Victini, he's often brought Scarf, so I wanted to slow them down. But beyond that, Thunder for main stab, Volt Switch to Volt Switch around, because his only ground type is Crocodile. And then Bug Buzz to round out the coverage because I need to hit Crocodile. And also, Celebi is 4 times weak to Bug Buzz. Next up, we are running Dragon Dance Haxorus, holding Poisonium Z. because that's the best way that Hacksters can dent physically defensive Granville. Hacksters doesn't really like to stay in on Granville, so obviously I need a way to like basically KO it. I do need to be a +1 in order for Acid Downpour to kill, but notably he does have Celebi, which also is super effective to poison, or I guess is weak to poison. One thing I did need to watch out for though, with that poison is the Mega Scizor, which luckily he didn't bring, but I mean it is immune to it, and Quillfish does resist it. And finally, I can run a match with Dragon Claw instead of Outrage, because Goodra dies, I think, to actually a neutral Dragon Claw. I don't need to boost it. So I'm finally not bringing Outrage, not getting myself locked into it, bringing Dragon Claw, and then Earthquake just rounds out the coverage, and it's just obvious for things like Victini that I thought he might bring in the Quillfish, specifically in this match. Speaking of the Victini, Victini is really hard to deal with, because it's a Victini. Luckily, I do have actually a pretty solid answer to it, in the form of Seismitoad, especially the physical version. If it's the special version, might have a little bit more issues. I'm running physically defensive Seismitoad because it resists V-Create and is immune to Volt Strike. Those are the main reasons I brought him. I mean, like, he still gets hit by Zen Headbutt and stuff like that, but though that doesn't deal like near as much damage to it. But seeing as he didn't bring Victini, like, not as relevant. But anyways, leftovers, obviously. We're running enough speed on it to outspeed a no-speed Scizor. That's because even though we are mixed, we're not running relaxed, because that would make me try to invest into my speed way too much to try to outspeed the Scizor. But I did need Scald, basically just to burn the Scizor and to hit the Crocodile. Because we're running special, we're running Earth Power as well, as he has a few ground weaknesses, especially to hit the Victini or anything on switches, stuff like that. And then Knockoff, because I just think Knockoff is really good against Tai. Excuse me. But yeah, so we are running Bold on that, so Knockoff doesn't do as much damage. At this point, though, like, I knew I wanted Azelf. As you can see, Azelf is one of my Pokemon. But at this point, I still needed a solid answer to a Tornadus, and I didn't know whether he would run physical or special. He has run both in the past. The best compromise to it was a physically defensive Assault Vest Mudsdale. Because we're Assault Vest, we're going to be, we have Earthquake, obviously, for main stab. Rock Slide for the Tornadus, because I need to hit it with something. Heavy Slam, mostly for the Granbull, as it's only Fairy type, but I mean, Heavy Slam is actually pretty good against his team in general, since he does have some light Pokemon in like Celebi and the Manaphy and the Victini, even though Steel's not the greatest against Manaphy and Victini. But past that, Body Slam again, because 38% chance to para, I can't really pass that up, considering I don't really need the coverage. Oh shoot, no, I'm sorry, I didn't run, that's my mistake. I did not run Heavy Slam, I ran Close Combat, mostly for the Crook. And last but not least, like I said, Azelf, huge boon for this team. Like I said, his team, not the fastest. Azelf can outspeed his entire team, barring Scarfers. We're running Nasty Plot Life Orb this time, because I do think if I am able to set up a Nasty Plot with Azelf, he's going to have a super, especially under Sticky Webs, he's going to have a super hard time to try to revenge kill it back. So anyways, my plan from the start, I knew right away, was to lead Galvantula and set up webs. And I think he does pretty much the same. He leads Crook and like just wants to set up rocks. So that's exactly what we do. Notice that I have speed here, which notably tells me he's not scarfed. That's the big thing. Next up, seeing that he didn't attack, this is an easy Bug Buzz here. So yeah, so I just Bug Buzz, fire it off. It does have a chance to kill, but actually he lives on 84 HP, and that's not nearly enough to justify being an offensive Crocodile. He's actually, like, I could tell it's max HP, and he was actually physically defensive Crocodile, which is pretty neat on his part. As he showed Knockoff, the Knockoff showed also he didn't have any attack investment. But yeah, I was just it was safe for me to fire off another Bug Buzz here. No need to predict at all. as he just goes into his Gudra, which is a good answer to the Galvantula. And I feel like I want to save this. Seeing that he does have both the Manaphy and the Quillfish, I think that this is good for later. So I decided to Volt Switch out, and seeing as like I really planned to offensively check Gudra, I didn't really know what to switch into. But seeing as he didn't have the Tornadus, I figured that Mudsdale was the best compromise. So I'm just going to Volt Switch into Mudsdale, as he brings like the normal like bulky like max HP Assault Vest, as he shows Outrage here. So he's going to raise my defense. This is really like, I kind of wish now that I had Leftovers instead of Assault Vest, but like, hey, what can you do? I'm just going to go with Body Slam here, because seeing here, I'm kind of predicting that Manaphy has Rain Dance, so he could have the Hydration. So I'm not anticipating any gooey shenanigans, as he's obviously locked into Outrage. He gets confused, so I do go for the Body Slam, and yeah, the damage does confirm that he is just max HP. He unfortunately stays in and gets hit by Confusion, and I just easy clicked Body Slam again to kill. So now here, I'm not really sure what he's going to do. If he does have Rain Dance, I didn't think he was going to go for it. I just kind of figured, what I really wanted to do was scout for the Grass Knot on this and see, because if he doesn't have Grass Knot, then I think Seismitoad has a decent matchup against this. So I'm actually going to click Earthquake to try to get as much damage off, as he does reveal Rain Dance, and he actually, this damage reveals that he is definitely physically defensive. So I'm thinking, oh no, this could be a Calm Mind variant, and that would be really bad, especially if he has Rest. But yeah, I click Earthquake again, because honestly, now that he does have the Rain Up, trying to get the Body Slam para is not at all, like it's just worthless, because the paralysis will go away. So I click Earthquake, but I mean, he does Surf, and he still outspeeds. So seeing that he outspeeds, I go into Galvantula, and I try to scare him out. Even though I know that because he is max HP, Thunder won't kill, I'm still trying to bluff it here, because this is an easy Thunder click for me here, because Thunder plus anything else is a 2-hit KO on his entire team if he doesn't attack me or he switches out. As Thunder deals a decent dent into this, geez, I need to start like chaining my words together better. Thunder does a good chunk to this, but it actually doesn't kill from this range. So if he kills me back, I can revenge with either Haxorus or Azelf. Basically my choice. However, if he does switch out into Crocodile and I Thunder, that's fine, because Bug Buzz can kill after that. And if he goes into anything else, 2 Thunders KO Granbull, a physically defensive Granbull, 2 Thunders KO physically defensive Quillfish, and Thunder plus Bug Buzz will definitely kill Celebi. So there's no reason to not fire off this Thunder. So that's exactly what I do. And granted, he does go into Crocodile here, so I do launch the Thunder and he blocks it. But again, like I said, this is an easy Bug Buzz here, and if he just wants to pivot around, then I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm just getting chip off of everything. This was his best play here, to go into Granbull to resist it. So I can't OHKO this. My original thought was to Volt Switch out and to save Galvantula as a sack for later. But I actually go against that. I see the Thunder can deal over half. So basically, my plan is just to Thunder it and get as much damage off of this as possible. So I do that. Problem being, before I calc this out, and I do get lucky with the para here, even though that doesn't come into play at all. The problem with this here is that I didn't calc it right, and also didn't think about the leftovers for whatever reason. Azelf can't KO with a Thunderbolt or a Flamethrower, without setting up a Nasty Plot, and I don't want it to take that much damage yet, not just yet. I kind of want to save this for later. Haxorus's Poison Jab can't kill. I suppose I think the Z Jab might have, but I didn't really want to fire it off later either, because he hasn't shown the Celebi yet. So I go for a middle ground play, expecting him to be physically defensive. I do go into Seismitoad here to try to tank the hits as well as I can. And I click Earth Power, which is pretty safe for me, but he actually reveals to have Roar, and he roars me into Haxorus. So now seeing here, at this range, Earthquake can KO, so that's an easy click to Earthquake. So yeah, I'm just going to fire off the Earthquake, get the kill there, and he's going to go back into his Manaphy, and And I'm thinking, no, he probably has Ice Beam. So I didn't want to take that risk. So, seeing how this game is going, I kind of figured that Seismitoad has done his job. And if this thing does have Grass Knot, then that's fine. I can scout for it. Well, it's not really scouting. But I mean, like, Seismitoad can pretty much go down here. It's pretty much done its job looking at the rest of his team. It's not going to do much. So I go into Seismitoad, and he does reveal to have Ice Beam. And that crit actually does 31%. So, I could have Toxic'd here, but I mean, like, with him knowing that he has Rain Dance, he could easily just Rain Dance it away. So I'm just going to make a safe play and go into Knockoff here, as I can see that obviously Surf won't do anything because I have Water Absorb. But I mean, this Ice Beam isn't going to do that much to me either. So Knockoff is pretty easy here. As he goes into Quillfish, which I thought was a mistake that he didn't have Intimidate, but then it turns out that he actually, that was on purpose. He did want the Poison Point specifically for the for my Megalop, which is fair on his part. But yeah, I get rid of the Black Sludge here, and I'm pretty free to just Earth Power until this dies. Oh, which is exactly what I do. But then it's at this moment where I'm just like, oh, okay, I see what he was trying to do. He reveals Toxic Spikes, and if you stuck around with me throughout the season, you know that my team does not appreciate Toxic Spikes at all. My team is not Rock Sweep, which is actually quite nice, but my team just really hates Toxic Spikes. And I'm just like, okay, I see. Now I understand what Tyler was trying to do with, like, the Roar on the Granbull and the physically defensive Crocodile. I mean, like, why else would you run physically defensive Crocodile, really? But yeah, so I'm pretty, like, at this point I'm just like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. But yeah, I just knock it out with Earth Power, and so that's done. And I believe he goes Celebi here. Yeah, and me thinking, like, I honestly expected him to just click Giga Drain and knock this out. So I'm just going to click Knockoff on the off chance for whatever reason that he doesn't click Giga Drain. But he actually reveals Nasty Plot, which I suppose is fair on his part, thinking that he could get a Nasty Plot up for basically free. The leftovers doesn't really matter at this point, because he reveals to have Recover. So I just click Knockoff, and me think, like, I honestly thought at this point, oh, I'll let the Poison play out. I honestly thought at this point that, like, oh, this Celebi is going to be a problem. But then I calculate out, and Z Poison Jab actually just one-shots it. Like it's an insta kill on this Celebi. So I'm just like, okay, I'm safe. I can just let Seismitoad go down here and, like, not have anything else happen to Haxorus really, and then I can just click Z Poison. So he does reveal Giga Drain here, and he's at 94%. So I'm gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna go into Haxorus and I'm gonna click Z Poison because there's no downside here, because either I knock this out or I get a huge chunk of damage off of Manaphy, and then I can kill with either, like, Azelf or Lopunny later on. And then once this doesn't have the +2 boost, then either mostly Azelf, but, like, either of these Pokemon can easily deal with the Celebi. So Z Poison was a no-brainer here, as he just lets Celebi go down. So now with this happening, since I know that his Manaphy is physically defensive, I need a Zelf as my win condition over anything else, and I need it to not take hits. So I'm just gonna Dragon Claw. Basically, I'm just gonna Dragon Claw Manaphy until I go down. I actually do get a crit, but it won't matter because, as you see on this turn, he actually reveals to have the rest. And I'm thinking, like, okay, well, now I know it's full moveset, but it's fine. I just need, like I said, I don't want any prior damage on the Azelf, so I'm just gonna let the Haxorus go down and Dragon Claw it as much as I can. So here is GG, but here I do make sort of a crucial play. Basically what happens is either, like, 2 Thunderbolts or Nasty Plot plus Thunderbolt knocks out. I don't know why I decided, like, I could be that guy who just, like, fakes it, and I'm like, oh yeah, like, he could, like, I Nasty Plotted for this reason instead of, like, using 2 Thunderbolts. But no, I just honestly, for whatever reason in my head, I just said I'll Nasty Plot first and then Thunderbolt. And it does come up here because Surf in the Rain does massive damage to me and puts me at 11%, which means that Life Orb Thunderbolt puts me at 1%. So really all it did was make me get a 2-0 win as opposed to a 1-0 win. But like, if I didn't plan it that way, it was just nice that it kind of happened. Yeah, like I could have taken the credit for that, but no, I'm not that guy. Like, I just nasty plotted because I just felt like nasty plotting and showing him exactly what set my Azelf was, because Azelf's pretty versatile too. So anyways, yeah, that was the game against Vicious and Delicious. Good game to my brother. Obviously, some major bragging rights up there. So yeah, that's our win. We still have one more game left in the regular season, which also happened this week. It'll be up relatively shortly after this video. And yeah, so that game was against Sean, coach of the Elsa Craig Cutie Flies, the current #1 slot in the league and current 2-time champion of this league. Really badly want to beat him. I know he really badly wants to beat me because our games are always really good, and he knows that I'm always a top contender, so he wants to like try to put me as far down as I can. But we're gonna give him all we have to try to fight for that first place slot. So keep your eye out on the channel for that battle, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.